Hello everybody. I haven't done a video in a very, very long time. I've just been busy with work and school. But I'm gonna go ahead and just get started. I'm gonna do 2 videos today. I'm gonna do a review on Rumiko Takahashi's Maison Ikkoku, Volume 1. And the other one will be this volume right here, Dragon Ball in Color, which is Volume 1. There's Saiyan Arc, which is known anime-wise as Dragon Ball Z. Anyways, let's start with Maison Ikkoku. First, this was printed back in the 90s in English, I believe. And it's been out of print for a very long time. But Viz Media, who owns, I guess, the rights to this property, I think both anime and manga, has re-released the manga in these bound editions. This is number 1, and I have number 2 right here. I haven't read this yet, so this will be coming up soon. I will say it is beautifully done. I really love the cover. It's a very pretty cover. It's really wonderful colors. It's got this really interesting texture on the cover. It's really nice. Like, here's got a little flap right here on both sides. It's got like these little inserts right here, which is really pretty. And I think the back is just the same. So far there's only 2 volumes, I think. I'm sure more will come out because originally there was 15, I want to say. About 15 volumes before. So we'll see how many bound editions that will be. I think there's like at least 2 in this one. Like 2 per edition. I also feel like there's a new English translation potentially. Which I think is awesome because some of the early 90s mangas had really horrible translations. So, oh, excuse me. I actually don't mind if they went and retranslated this. I think that's perfect. If you haven't read this particular story, really briefly, I will read the little brief description in the inside of the flap. Yusaku Godai didn't get accepted into college on the first try, so he's studying to retake the entrance exams. But living in a dilapidated building full of eccentric and noisy tenants is making it hard for him to achieve his goals. Now that a beautiful woman has moved in, oh my gosh, to become the resident manager, Godai is driven to distraction. So the woman on the cover is Kyoko, and she's the manager, and she has this little dog with her who is named after her late husband. She's a widow. And this is kind of it's a love story, it's a romance, a comedy as well, between her and Godai, who is a college student that lives in the apartment building that she manages. Her father-in-law is the one who owns it. Like I said, she's a widow, so her late husband is gone. He's passed. His name was Soichiro, I think is how you say it. Let me find a picture with the dog. Yeah, Soichiro. And she named her dog that as well, so he's named after her late husband. This series is full of a lot of antics between Godai and the other tenants of the apartment building. They often distract him and get in his way when he's studying. And when she's here, she comes pretty early in the series. She comes pretty much in the first chapter, like within a couple of pages. And they've all decided that they're going to meddle into their relationship. and in not only his life but her life as well. So there's a lot of fun goofiness, very common in Rumiko Takahashi's works. If you've read Urusei Yatsura or Ranma One Half, then you would know. Inuyasha has some funny moments, but it's a bit more like serious, more dramatic. Also, it does deal with like demons and stuff, so it's more historical in the time period, but with the demons, it's got a more fantastical element. This is like a more real world situation, which I really enjoy. I really like those type of mangas. I love my fantasy and sci-fi type as well. You know, my favorite being Sailor Moon, the manga version, of course. Actually, I'm actually wearing a Sailor Moon shirt today. See? But I really love this story because it's got great comedy, great romance. She's building up to the romance, by the way. Like, they don't meet each other and instantly fall in love, which I think is perfect. Kyoko is still mourning the loss of her husband, and yes, you can see, like, by the end of this particular volume, she's starting to develop feelings for Godai, but she also won't do anything about it because she feels guilty. She thinks, I'm going to forget him, forget Soichiro, and she doesn't want to do that because for her, the very small amount of time she spent married to him was precious, and I think, like, it's realistic for her not to want to move on so quickly. And I like the fact that Godai, you know, he's still there. He knows how she feels and she knows how he feels, but he's not going anywhere. I appreciate that. Like, obviously he's not going anywhere because he lives there, and he's a poor broke college student. There's nowhere else for him to go, but he's not like leaving her emotionally, is what I'm trying to say. I think that's really wonderful of him. Oh, excuse me. I keep yawning, I'm sorry, guys. But it's wonderful of him to really stand by her side. One of the things that I also love about this particular series is it's got gorgeous artwork by Rumiko Takahashi, as always. You know, it's very in her style. You can easily tell if you didn't see her name right here and you just looked at this cover, you know right away it's Rumiko Takahashi. But this is a great story. I'm saying this now and I'll say it in every video of reviews I do. This is her best work, in my opinion. Like, I've read quite a bit of Urusei Yatsura. I've read all of Ranma One Half back in the day. I want to reread it, but I don't have the manga anymore. I had a bunch of them, but I got rid of them because I was like, I need space. But Ranma's great too. All her series are really great. Just want to throw that out there. Inuyasha, there's a new series that she's got called Mao. I haven't read it yet. I don't know if it's been translated in English yet. So far it's just been released in Japan. Just the manga. I don't think there's an anime just yet. This does have an anime, by the way. Again, out of print. Whether Viz will re-release the anime for both this and Urusei Yatsura is my hope. I want box sets so bad. Blu-ray, or even I'll take DVD. But I would love for this to be re-released because the old DVDs are super hard to find and super expensive. Just saying. So you might be able to find like a website that plays it because it's not on Hulu or Netflix, which is disappointing, but the anime is pretty good. It's pretty faithful to this as well. But yeah, but this is her best work in my opinion. Like, I think it's her second series she did. She was doing Urusei Yatsura and she started doing this around the same time. And I'm not saying like, oh, Inuyasha's bad, or Ranma, or Mermaid Saga, Rinne, I think is how you say it. Those series are really good too. but I think overall this has like a really clear, cohesive story. From start to finish, it's very satisfying, and the ending is also very satisfying to me as well. The one series I was frustrated with the ending was Ranma 1/2, like in the manga. The anime never got to finish the whole manga storyline for that, so. But like the ending of that really frustrated me. And for spoilers for Ranma, I was really invested in his relationship with Akane, and I was hoping that towards the end of the series we were going to get more development with him. And like I said, here, even in this first volume, you're seeing real development between between these two characters and their relationship. And I know how the series ends because I have read this before, a very long time ago. But it is worth it to read this, and just this one volume alone is amazing. And I don't think I covered. Oh, I forgot to show you this. Look at this. It's so pretty. There she is, Kyoko, and there he is holding her. That's Godai. So pretty. Really beautiful inserts of art in color. There she is again. I wonder if there's any more. Nope, that's it. But here's the contents. So there's about over 300 pages. And it's got chapters 1 through 16. I don't remember what the volumes were like, the original ones. I used to have a couple. I don't know where they are, if I still had them. I'm pretty sure I still had them because I knew this series was out of print. It's super hard to get. And if I find them, I can show you guys them in like a video when I do the second volume. We'll see. But I don't honestly remember, but yes. Really quickly, let's talk about the other characters besides Godai and Kyoko. I feel like, by the way, the dog, Soichiro, kind of meddles too. I feel like he's testing Godai to see if he's worthy of, you know, his mistress. And I also think, like, he suspects one character who's afraid of dogs, and I'll talk about him. I feel like he knows that he's afraid of dogs, and he constantly goes after him, because I think he knows he's not the one for her. I can't help but wonder if maybe, even though he's a dog, like, her husband is somehow, like, connected to the dog, potentially? I don't know. I know it's not as, there's no, it's more real, like, realism in this story, and there's no, like, fantastical elements like in Inuyasha or even Ranma, but you never know. I mean, there is, like, different belief systems over in Japan. They do have Christianity there. I don't know how much, you know, prevalent it is in people's lives, but I can't help but wonder if there's more to the dog than just being a dog, you know? Or, you know, dogs do also have a good instinct about people too, so that could be it too, as well. Let's talk about the neighbors, or the other tenants in the building. So you have Akemi. She's this woman right here. She literally walks around the house in lingerie and gets mad when people, like, look at her, and it's quite funny. That she does that. But she's also sleeps a lot. She works at a bar, and she tends to drink a lot, and she distracts Godai from his studies by constantly having parties in his apartment, along with the other two tenants that are in the story. There is Mrs. Ichinose, which, honestly, her name, I think, means, like, like nosy person. I could be wrong. The names go with the personalities of these characters, by the way. It's really great, like, how she came up with the names. but she's a very nosy neighbor. She's that person that wants to gossip and learn gossip and spread rumors and everything. And she quickly attaches herself to Kyoko in the series. And she keeps like trying to get her to admit she's got feelings for Godai, and then she always constantly like mocks Godai's feelings and all these horrible things. And she does have a son who is in the series, and his name is Kentaro. And her son's kind of like, he's kind of like a typical kid in a way. He's got his little crush on Kyoko, which later turns into a crush on her niece. He doesn't get along with Godai. You know, he's kind of like a smart aleck. But all the characters in this, they're really hilarious. They're funny. They make you laugh. You do have a character. In most of her series, there's a character that's kind of like a lecher. You had Muroku in Inuyasha. You have Happosai and Ranma 1/2, and the main character one of the main characters of Urusei Yatsura. And in this series, it is the neighbor, Mr. I think it's Yotsuya. That's how you say it. I wish there was a character guide in these, but there's not. Yeah, like he actually like puts holes in Godai's wall to go peep on Akemi. Yotsuya, that's it, sorry. He's just as bad as those other characters in so many ways, but yeah, he's the perverted person in the story. Godai's got a little bit of pervertness. He's got those magazines, but he's not to the extent of Mr. Yotsuya, who, like I said, goes into Godai's room through a hole in his wall to go be a peeping Tom and watch Akemi in her lingerie sleeping the day away. But they're a hilarious cast of characters that are meddling in the lives of the romantic pair of the story. There's another two sets of characters. There's her niece, who's a really sweet girl, that I think has a little crush on Godai, and is constantly trying to get him to notice her. And there's the tennis instructor that is his rival in love. And he comes in chapter 10, I believe. Yes, 10 is when they start the lessons, and he is Coach Mitaka. There he is right there. He's a tennis coach. So he's the one that's afraid of dogs, by the way. So I still think Soichiro knows and is like, no, you don't like dogs, so you don't get to be with her. But it's a great cast of characters. I know for right now, I feel like she's like oblivious to his feelings for her, the coach's, Mitaka's. But he's got no chance, I think, against Godai, because you can tell she's starting to develop feelings for him over the other man, and I don't think he's going to last very long as a rival for Godai. And I don't remember, it's been so long since I've actually read this series, so I don't remember what happens. I know the ending, that's about it, because the ending was just beautiful. And like I said, it's been out of print, so it's hard to get a hold of the older versions of the manga, but I'm so happy that Viz has been reprinting this series. It's amazing. Please check it out. Please, please, please. I hope that maybe an interest in the manga will spark an interest in the anime, and maybe Viz will re-release the anime. Whether or not it has the original English dub, I'm sure there was an English dub for this, or they have to redub it. I'm okay with that. I think that'd be cool. Either way, I would just want the anime, to be honest. I wouldn't mind a redub of the series in English. If maybe that will spark more interest for the series, who knows? I don't know if this series was censored. There is some nudity, just a warning. She does that a lot in her series, though. Just gonna point that out. But I highly recommend this. Her best work. Although I haven't read Mao, so Mao might be amazing, but I still think this is her best. I feel like it's just awesome. You have to check it out. It's worth it. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.